Valguero's release is right around the corner, and with the release, it's good to know everything about this map. Now while this video isn't teaching you every single thing about the map, we're just going to go ahead and cover all of the biomes, all the different areas, some nice little hidden areas, and maybe some nice areas for you to build. So let's go ahead and cover this. So here is Valguero. If you don't know, Valguero was released on ASC and is about to be released on ASA, just with a pretty big revamp. Now we don't know exactly what's going to be happening. It could change the entire style of this map, could look very different, but based off of the old maps, it should look about the same. So first off, we have the Redwoods. Out of any other map on ARK, I think Valguero has the biggest Redwoods in my opinion. I mean, look at the sheer size of this. It is quite literally taking up almost a third of the map. It is absolutely massive. And well, compared to maps like the Center, this kind of puts it to shame. The Center is cool with how they built their Redwoods, but this Redwoods just feels more vibrant. It has more stuff kind of going on. Except I won't lie, the Center's Redwoods still have a nice place in my heart, just because of, you know, what's going on in there. But yeah, so here's the Redwoods on here. We have a nice little hidden lake back in here. Nothing too crazy, but there's just a sheer amount of land, and I think that's why everybody loves the Redwoods on here, because there's so much area that it covers. Now there's one thing about the Redwoods that a lot of people love, and that is the spider cave. Now spider cave is a little tricky to find, but to find it, all you have to do is just fly over it until you see the webs. There's the webs right there. They pop out pretty easily. On ASA, you might not be able to find it as easily, but this is probably one of the best caves on Valguero, other than Oil Cave, but even then, Oil Cave on ASA is going to be interesting, I'll just say that. But yeah, here's Spider Cave. Now normally, it comes with a in-game boss, which is the Broodmother. I'm pretty sure that they're going to keep him in here. I don't see why they wouldn't. Well, her technically in here. I don't see why they wouldn't keep her in here. But, I mean, it's hard to tell. We might get an entirely new kind of spider boss. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, here is the cave down here. This is Spider Cave, and you need a gas mask to enter certain parts of this cave. But it is a pretty great PvP cave. I mean, for the most part, as long as you know what you're doing and how to defend it, it makes for a pretty phenomenal cave. Now, it is kind of hard to show off this entire thing. It is a pretty big cave, but it goes back pretty far. You have a lot of room to put turrets in here. And considering that you can now build on walls and on ceilings, this cave's going to be pretty crazy. So, you know, we can only tell what's going to happen when it comes out. But yeah, here, I'll at least show you the back room if I can get down to it. I kind of forget how to maneuver down here. I've not played ASE in a good bit, so I have not touched this cave in ages. Okay, so yeah, here's the bottom portion. Here's the final part of the cave. This is the gas mask area that you need a mask in. And yeah, pretty great spot to live in. And you also have artifacts of the immune in here as well, and a lot of bugs. Oh my god, look at how many bugs are in here. But yeah, it does keep going back in here. You do have a second artifact as well. I believe your second artifact is normally right there. I might be wrong. I don't know. I'm a little rusty with Valguero. It's been a good minute, but I'm pretty sure we have a second artifact in there. Now, knowing what's going to be coming with Valguero Ascended can be a little stressful. If this for some reason stresses you out, check out my sponsor, Mitra 9. Mitra 9 is a non-alcoholic supplement that quite literally makes you feel good. These drinks give you a high, but without the impairment. They have a ton of great flavors, my favorite being root beer. If you're looking for a new drink to replace your coffee in the morning, Mitra is the way to go. Simply go to mitra9.com and use my code OUTCAST for 25% off your entire order. Now, back to the video. Now, Redwoods doesn't really have too much else in here. I mean, there are some nice little hidden areas. There's a little kind of grotto cave somewhere in here. I forget where that is. You have some cool little features like these little bonsai style trees all kind of scattered around. Some nice ruins. So you do have a castle in here, I believe, too. I gotta find it really quick. I know we have a Redwoods castle. I just forget where it is. Here's the Redwoods castle. It's literally on the outskirts of the Redwoods, and yeah, it's just a giant thing of ruins. So for you PvE players, definitely gonna be pretty cool here, but for PvP, you don't really gain anything out of this unless you want to try to live in here, which I wouldn't even try to touch. It does end right here, so who knows if we might get, you know, a bigger entrance or something that goes into an actual cave, because that would have been a pretty cool add-on with this. Just saying, ARK, you should have done something like that. But yeah, that's about it for Redwoods. I believe I've covered most stuff. Of course, I'm not going to cover every single thing in here, so just, you know, just to be clear, I'm not covering everything. Now after the Redwoods, we have the White Cliffs, or just the canyons, or really whatever you want to call it. Now this is probably one of the best looking zones on ARK, in my honest opinion, because of just the style of all of this. I personally love it a lot, not to mention the true scale of this. Like on foot, you'll look up and that's how big everything is. I mean, it's pretty cool. Now, it's a very calm yet a little bit chaotic zone. You have a lot going on. Now this is the zone that you can find the furry raptors, I believe. They can be found, yeah, right in here. These are furry raptors. You can find them in their little nests. Or the dinos, such as dino, I give up on trying to say that name. But yeah, this area has a good amount of stuff, including chalk golems, which are basically rock golems just reskinned. I don't think they offer anything crazy. Now who knows, ARK may add a different ability with certain of these, you know, rock golems, but here's what they look like. They look like a pretty offsetting stone. I believe this is another one. Yeah, there's another one there. But yeah, these are chalk golems. They usually have a little bit of white on them. Nothing too crazy though. He's technically a rock golem. Could have sworn we had chalk golems in here. Maybe I'm in the wrong area. But then we have the lava golem kind of style, which is just like a fire golem, and then we have ice golems as well. Again, they don't do anything. It's just aesthetics, but who knows? We might get something crazy with that. Now you have a lot of abandoned ruins up in here. Abandoned bridge. Just kind of span around. There's nothing too crazy out here, but if you are looking to tame some rock golems, that is not Scorched Earth, well, you got Valguero, which is definitely a much more calming map to tame rock golems, especially in these zones, because you don't really have much trying to hit, you know, kill you 24/7. So yeah, this is the best map to go ahead and tame them, in my honest opinion. White Cliffs doesn't really have anything. I don't think we even have a cave in here, to be honest with you. It's just a very nice, aesthetically pleasing area. Like, you have this little waterfall area. I like this spot a lot. You have this one spawn zone that everybody gets confused on when they spawn in. I gotta find it. Yeah, here it is. Because this is a spawn zone, and I remember whenever the map first came out, everyone's like, how do I get out of here? And people were like just kind of freaking out, trying to build their way out. Yeah, there's literally a little cave right here to get out of here, just so you know. But yeah, a lot of people got very confused with this one. That was pretty funny. You have the tops of these cliffs. You do have a base spot in here, I believe. I don't think ARK ever patched it. Forget where it is. This was the spot a lot of people always loved to build in. I don't know why. I mean, it was good for back in the day. ARK still has never patched this, because, you know, when you see some stretched walls, it's not supposed to look like that. ARK is supposed to be patching that. They never patched it. So they kind of left it. I think they left it because a lot of people love to just live there. But people would put some cliff platforms and just live in there. And, I mean, if you think about it, it was kind of a good spot because players weren't really able to get in there. It's just turrets, so it was a bit of a pain. But now that we have a lot of new stuff with ASA, I don't think it's really a good spot anymore. You do have another spawn for the furry raptors, which is right in here, and a phenomenal metal spot as well. Other than that, though, I don't think White Cliffs has too much else to really offer. Next up, we have this zone. It's technically still part of White Cliffs. It's just this giant field, though. It is a very, very flat field. Where you can find horses, brontos, ovis. I mean, for the most part, a lot of more calming dinos, other than, you know, your aloes and occasional rexes that you'll find in here. But it is a nice little calm area where you can tame a lot of very different types of creatures. This area spawns many, many different creatures. So if you're looking just to tame a lot of different stuff like brontos and just a lot of more herbivore styled stuff, but even a couple carnivores, I would highly recommend coming out here. Now, other than that, I would have to say that's about it for White Cliffs. You got this nice canyon down here with some more furry raptors. It's a pretty vast canyon, but yeah, other than that, that's about it for White Cliffs. Then we have the beaches. Now this is where you're going to spawn in for the most part. If you choose to spawn, you know, White Cliffs, you might spawn a little bit in there, but it's mostly on these beaches. These beaches are pretty nice, but just pretty calm. There's nothing crazy going on. Now you do have, I believe you have the whales. Yeah, you have dolphins. Never mind. So instead of the big whales like on Ragnarok, you have these dolphins that you can harvest. You got to use a pickaxe or something. But they give you some keratin, some spoiled meat, oil, and I believe that's it. But you do have those scattered occasionally around for a PT saddle if you're looking to get one of those. Instead of trying to kill, you know, a turtle or something, you can go and harvest those and get yourself some keratin. But the beach spans a good ways down here and connects back up to Redwoods. That is one of the major spawns. You can also spawn across the other side here, but for the most part, people usually spawn right in there. Now the zone that is separating us is the Boreal Forest. Now this area is just kind of here, I'll say that. Now the Boreal Forest is technically all of this, and it kind of goes into this area. It's a nice little dense forest. It's nothing too crazy. It kind of reminds me of Redwoods. I mean, it has the redwood trees in here, just with no redwoods. So, interesting area, but nothing really going on in here. It's pretty calm for the most part. You do have a aberration entrance. I believe it is... I forget off the top of my head. It's somewhere in here. I'll find it in a little bit whenever I cover the aberration zones. But you do have an aberration entrance somewhere in here, I believe. You got some waterfalls, but nothing really too crazy in here as well. I mean, it's pretty calm for the most part. No big caves. You have a cave here at Greenob, though. It's not a great cave, but the cave can be found right here. Sadly, it has water, so PvP is already out the window because people can just raft raid it. Now, back in the day, I remember a lot of people used to build in here, but it's just not really a great cave. It's good if you're on PvE, but PvP, it's not good to even try to live in it, considering people can raft raid you. But for the most part, rafts have been disabled on most servers, so kind of up to you. Now, the Boreal Forest kind of spans along all this. It's kind of mixed in, goes over there a little bit, but let's go ahead and cover this next area. Now, this is just the jungle, I believe. I don't think it has an official name, but it is a lot more dense than this area. You can see here, as soon as you enter it, it is very dense. You can't really see what's going on, but it's pretty calming. It feels more like the island in here. You know, you don't really have too much going on. You do have this giant lake in here, as well as you have a swamp area where you can find some beaver dams, tame all your swamp dinos. This is where you're going to find your Rhinogothias most likely, if they choose to add them, which I'm sure ARK is going to. They've added them to most maps. But yeah, you have this main lake here. You have a lot of ruins up in here. And it goes all the way up in here. You do have that castle. I'll cover that castle and castle cave here in a second. But you have one of these caves. Now, this is a pretty interesting cave here, because the cave entrance, you know, compared to most maps, you know, it's just an open entrance. Well, this has a button. This is the first cave that you can actually live in, I believe, that has a button and a door that slams. Meaning trying to raid this thing is going to be very, very complicated to do. But yeah, when you enter into here, you have this long hallway, and then it drops down right in here. Now, I believe this enters into... I don't think it's Aberration. No, okay, so it's not Aberration, but you're entered into this decent-sized cave. I mean, it's got some room in here. You got some stuff to do, but it's nothing wild. But still, with that entrance being an actual physical door that opens and shuts, well, in my honest opinion, it could make for a decently overpowered cave, but... big problem with that is that this cave isn't too crazy. I mean, you can still build platforms in here and have a lot of room, don't be wrong, but it's going to be 6x damage, and it still is not going to be fun to live in. You do have an artifact in here. Forget where to find it. I want to say it's right in here, but it just didn't spawn in. And yeah, for the most part, that's kind of about it for this cave. Again, I'm not covering every single cave, just to be clear. I'm just covering some just main interest points. But yeah, so that is your hidden cave right there. It is actually very hard to spot, because when you're flying around, it is completely invisible. You have to be above it to even see this thing in the first place. But you do have this little area up here. I remember this area because it was a crazy area when it came out. Because, well, of one main reason, and that was because the area was bugged, and ARK still never fixed it. And that is this little thing right here. Now, this little thing was supposed to be just a kind of little hidden cave. I'm sure they were going to put an artifact in there, but just kind of scrapped it last second. They just never put water in here for some reason. I still, to this day, don't know why ARK has never fixed this. But this is supposed to be a water area where you can swim. And it's supposed to come out here into a little air pocket. And, well, ARK never did it. Wow, I still have a bag in here? Bag from the old days. Wow, I still have a bag in here. That's crazy. But, yeah. People used to live in here, and shockingly on ASE you could fit quite a bit in here. Like, I did a full base in here with an InstancedFoliage and everything, and it fit very comfortably because you can actually put stuff in the mesh. You can't do that anymore, sadly. But yeah, ARK, I still question you sometimes why you never fixed this thing. I don't know why. But yeah, used to be an okay spot to live, but nowadays I would never recommend it. Now we have this area. Now this area is just kind of a little canyon with some waterfalls in it. And I don't think we have anything too crazy in here. I thought this was the one with the cave, but it is not. I'm thinking of the other one. But when you follow this along, you have a cave entrance. And this enters into Castle Cave. Now the castle is right above here, but this cave would have been one of the best caves if they made it only one entrance. Sadly, it has 2 entrances, and that nerfs this cave tremendously. Because this cave was phenomenal. I just really hate that they did that. It's just, it really killed it for me. That's what really killed this cave. But for PvE, still a great cave. Now up here we have Castle Cave. Now this is a part of the cave system technically. It's just a giant abandoned ruins area. Nothing in here for the most part. But we do have the staircase that leads you back down here, which then enters you into the cave. I believe it does. It should. Oh no, it doesn't. Never mind. Forgot about that. It does not enter you. It enters you out here. So that is completely separate. And we have this little piece that ARK never fixed, and it's been bugging me ever since release. ARK never fixed that. Ugh. I don't know. That kind of stuff just irritates me. But yeah, that was Castle Cave. I'm sure we're going to see a major revamp for this, because if you guys saw what happened with Ragnarok's castle in Viking Bay, this should get a pretty big overhaul, and hopefully this will look very good when it's done. Then lastly, I believe we have the Aberration entrance. I'm just going to cover this area one more time just to see if I missed anything. Oh yes, never mind. I missed this one. So before Aberration, let's do this real quick. So we have this area with the bonsai tree. This was one of the famous ones in the trailer for those who have ascended. And it's just a cool little memorial to Valguero. I forget exactly what this is for, but it was a reference to something. Let me know in the comments if you guys know what this was a reference to, but I forget exactly what it was. But it's just for those who have ascended with a eternal flame. And then we have the tree. We have these eternal torches as well. I don't think this tree can be harvested. Yeah, no. So it is a permanent tree, along with 4 waterfalls right here. Now, one of the waterfalls has a cave in it. This cave isn't too bad. I mean, it's a bit of an awkward one to try and defend, but you have some metal in here if you're looking to farm a little bit of resources. But it is just a nice cave to live in if you're a solo or duo, but I wouldn't really recommend it. I mean, I'm sure it's going to change a little bit. We're going to have a bit of a different style, hopefully. But yeah, now we have the Aberration entrance. Now I'm not going to cover Aberration yet. I'm going to cover everything on the surface, and then we'll cover Aberration. But this is one of the Aberration entrances, which the coordinates are going to change for this, so I'm not even going to really show it. But yeah, it just drops you down here, and you got to go down a bunch of waterfalls to get in there. So let's go ahead and move on to the next biome, which I believe is the snow. Yep, that is the snow. We kind of covered this area, so I'm not going to cover it. It's all one big zone technically. So yeah, we have the snow area. Now the snow area is famous on this map because it is the first one to have a custom wyvern scar for only one wyvern. I'll cover more on that in a little bit. But yeah, snow isn't crazy. I don't think we have anything crazy for caves in here. It's nice for what it is, I won't lie, but I don't think we really have any snow caves. So we might have one. I don't remember it though. But yeah, here's the wyvern scar, and it is the ice wyvern scar. This only has ice wyverns, at least on the surface, which was an interesting thing when the map first came out. I know players were not happy about it, just seeing that we only had ice wyverns up top. Now down below, it changes. We have an only fire wyvern scar. So this is only fire wyverns, meaning we have no lightning and no poison. A lot of players were not happy with that, but I know why ARK did it. They did it on purpose to try and force people to go onto the other maps so that they would buy the other maps, you know. But whenever this map came out, it was free, which was awesome. But yeah, it only had fire and it only had ice wyverns. And I remember a lot of people were not happy with that. I thought it was pretty cool for what it was. It fit the zone in an interesting way. And yeah, it just incorporated a wyvern scar in a pretty awesome way that it did that. Now we have some penguin spawns around here. I believe this is one of the little penguins ones. But we do have penguins on this map if you're looking to get some penguins just to farm organic polymer. It's nothing crazy, like we don't have a dedicated penguin zone or anything, but yeah, we have that. Now we do have ice golems over here, like I said earlier. These are the lava, well, not lava golems, these are the rock golems just with a ice texture on them. So if you're looking to get a different styled rock golem, this is the area to come. And as you can see, they're just labeled as rock golem, I believe. Yeah, wild rock elemental. So wow, 145, that would have been a good tame. But if you're looking to get a snow golem that throws actual snow rocks, highly recommend coming here and getting one of them. Their textures are still messed up to this day. I don't know why they never fixed the textures, but the textures like move when he moves. Bit interesting. But yeah, that's it for this area. I don't think Snow has anything crazy other than Clemen's rat hole. If you guys know, if you don't know what that is and you've never played ARK, it's a pretty great rat hole. But if you also don't know what that is, you've probably been living under a rock this whole time if you've played ARK. But Clement's rat hole was a famous rat hole that came out, or located at Blue Ob whenever this map first came out, and that's what kind of had him famous, was from this rat hole. Now, the rat hole can be found right over here. You fly over here, and this is the rat hole. Back in the day, man, this thing was crazy. On ASA, I don't think it's going to be as good because you can't build crazy in here. But, I mean, look at this thing. There was an interesting mess up that happened with whenever they built the map that they just kind of left for us, because a lot of people loved it, and I'm sure that's why this one never got patched. But it was a crouch entrance, and a long crouch entrance at that. So I think that's why this spot lasted for so long. People would always put these just giant turret towers out front. Man, I miss the good old days of ARK. I really do. Now over here we have some more rat holes as well, which were below the ob inside of these little crystal areas. I'm not going to cover that, but just wanted to kind of say something about it. But yeah, that's about it for the snow. I don't think we have anything else in here. Now we have this area, which was the Tundra. Now the Tundra was an area of just kind of chaos. There's a lot going on. It's like the harder zone of this map. Tundra spans a good ways. We have some more abandoned ruins. This was like kind of a bit of a little castle or something in here. But you could enter in here. There's really nothing though. I mean, it's kind of empty. And well, yeah, that was kind of it for this part of this. I got hit by a UD, I think. But yeah, this goes all the way up over here. And we do have another cave right in here. And oh, lag spike. This cave has like, I think 3 different entrances. So PvP already out the window. This is another entrance into, no, this is an entrance into the deep, deep underwater. I forgot about that. So Valguero has a deep ocean, which is below the regular ocean, which was an interesting thing that they added. But yeah, this is the cave. Just want to cover it really quick. Nothing crazy. But yeah, when you go into the water, it goes extremely deep, and this enters into your deep ocean. The deep ocean can only be accessed through these caves, and only through a cave system. There's a giant skeleton in here. I forget where it is. It's pretty interesting though. Kind of want to know the backstory about that, but if you find it, it's pretty terrifying. So yeah, let's go back out. And oh, I think I'm already lost. Did I just? Nope. Okay, here's how you get back up. So let's go back out. I'm not going to really cover that in this video because it's kind of hard to see with ASE's fog, and you can't really turn that off, sadly. So yeah, the rest of the Tundra doesn't consist of too much other than Oil Cave, which I'll cover. But yeah, Tundra ends over here, and I believe, yeah, it kind of enters into Redwoods where we just saw that. But we have Oil Cave, which was a very, very famous cave. This is Oil Cave down in here, and this was a pretty phenomenal cave back then. I don't know how it's going to work now, but this is Oil Cave in here. As you can see, we have good size, but it was famous, well, because oil, you know, it had a lot of oil in it, and because it had a good amount of room. It is going to be 6x damage on launch, which sucks. So hopefully they'll redo this a little bit, because nowadays it doesn't just match the style of PvP. It's going to be harder to build in. But actually, I don't know. It might be a little easier to build in. But you do have these permanent rocks, which are a problem because you can hide behind them. And yeah, that was the problem with this cave. But now that you can build on ceilings and on walls, it actually might not be that bad. But yeah, that was it for, I believe, every biome. I mean, I tried to cover every single thing. I'm pretty sure I did too. That should be all of it. Now let's go to the aberration zone so I can at least show you that. I want to find the other aberration entrance. I completely forget where that was. I think we have 3 aberration entrances, technically speaking. Alright, so here is one of the aberration entrances. I showed you that other one, but this is the other main one. I think there's one more, I believe, and there's a couple other like little ones around, but this is one of the aberration entrances right here. It's a little hard to find. Hopefully ARK will kind of redo it and make it a little bit easier to spot. But yeah, this was aberration entrance number 1. This was the biggest one, I believe, and you could literally just walk straight into this one versus the other one you have to drop down into. But yeah, this is aberration entrance 1, and I think the aberration zone on this map is one of the best looking ones in my opinion. So when you first enter, you get, well, okay, a bit of a hard lag spike there. And when you first enter, you're entered into this giant room. Now this aberration zone, in my honest opinion, is the best one. It is a lot more calming, but it just feels bigger in a way. And for Valguero, it's not that bad. So you have a lot of this zone up here. You also have, you know, the famous portal spawn area in here. It's a little bit different with how they laid it out, but for the most part, it is a pretty nice design. They have the bridges in here as well still. You have this giant, I forget what they call this, but but you got the holograms as well from Aberration. And then I think this is one of your other entrances. Yeah, that's another entrance there. Now I don't know, I believe we have purple zone still in here, but for the most part, it's a lot more green zone, and that's what I like about this one, is that the green overpowers the other areas. So you have more copy and paste stuff over here, but this is the proper way to copy and paste stuff, because it actually looks good for this map. You have some of the redwood style trees in here as well. You got like bog lake almost. You got I think this goes down, yeah, this goes into the purple zone. So yeah, you just follow this path, and then here is your purple zone. Purple zone was built perfectly in my opinion. It actually looks very good for what this is. You have a lot of room, a lot of nice areas, and of course you have all of your main spawns. You can get reapers, you can get carcinos in here, you can get pretty much everything that you would normally get on Aberration down here. It goes very deep down, and I love the waterfall through here. Oh, I wish they did this on Aberration. This layout was, I don't know why, it just matches it really well. It looks great. But I believe that's it down here. There's a couple hidden things I'm not covering because I never fully played the Aberration part of Valguero when it came out. I just stuck to Aberration. But for a map, having a full-on Aberration zone, which is a full-on map in itself, Valguero is not a bad map. It's just really not. It's more calming. It feels more like the center. But they did it in a very nice way where it actually suits it well. It looks good. And it's not trying to copy anything. It's trying to be just unique. Because a lot of other maps, it just feels kind of copied. But who knows what ARK is going to do. They could completely erase this entire zone. It's hard to tell. But yeah, Aberration releases after this video is out, probably 5 to 7 days. And then we'll see, you know, what stays, what's going to look different, hopefully some new zones I'm really hoping for. And yeah, only time can tell. But anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I know I didn't cover every single thing, but I just kind of wanted to go over the overview of each zone with you guys. But yeah, leave some feedback in the comments about what you guys think. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like and please hit that subscribe button. We are almost at 100,000. But anyways, thanks for watching.